was on Mitch Marner to score them. Would you like the stat pack? Would you like the tremendous information?
I need this tremendous information like I didn't know I needed before.
All right. Love to hear that, buddy. So, over the last 3 years, Austin Matthews has scored a grand total of 142 goals. Of those 142 goals, Mitch Marner assisted on 71 of them. That's 50% of his goals over the last 3 years. You look at some other players on the team. William Nylander, he's assisted on 38 of the 142 goals. Max Domi, only 5 assists. Funny enough, on Max Domi when it comes to goals that Austin Matthews has scored. However, Dave, when you really break it down to a per 60-minute basis for how often these guys have played together, like per minute, per assist, it breaks down that actually Max Domi has been the most efficient player that Austin Matthews has played with over the last 3 years. On a per 60-minute basis at 5-on-5, Marner has 0.83 assists per 60 minutes at 5-on-5. Nylander, 1.24 assists per 60 minutes at 5-on-5. Max Domi, 0.91 per 60 minutes at 5-on-5. But when you look at it from the perspective of primary assists per 60 minutes of 5-on-5, that is where you see Max Domi really come alive, and that to me is what is so funny to see. Domi 0.018 per 60 minutes at 5-on-5 in primary assists. Nylander 0.13 per minute of even strength, and Marner 0.12. So yeah, you look at Mitch Marner, 71 assists, 50%, but of those 71 assists, only 44 of them were primary, which means only 30% of Austin Matthews' total goals were directly from the stick of Mitch Marner. And I'm not saying that that's easy to replace, right? 30% isn't nothing to snuff at,
No.
but it definitely isn't irreplaceable. I will say that. You can find other guys, and according to the numbers, right, Domi, Nylander, those guys, Nyes, even Bunting when he played up with Nylander or with Matthews, those guys had more assists per 60 minutes of 5-on-5 action alongside Matthews than Mitch Marner did. So yeah, when you look at the raw numbers, okay, he's got more assists. He's assisted on 50% of his goals. But when you break it down on a per minute basis, he can score with anyone else at the exact same rate. So I'm not too concerned that he won't have Mitch Marner on his side, because he's proven that when given other minutes with other players, he can score just as much, if not more.
This whole rhetoric has been kind of interesting because it makes me think to, again, Alex Ovechkin. Who is the man known for giving Alex Ovechkin,
Nick Backstrom.
Nick Backstrom. Nick Backstrom's been out of the league the last few years. Not once have I ever heard, I don't know if Alex Ovechkin is going to be able to do what he's going to be able to do without Nick Backstrom.
Well, I'll push back. I had heard that. I did hear that, especially early last year when he got off that really slow start. Not this season, the season before. I did hear that, and then he started to score in the second half, and then he got off to such a hot start this year that it never became part of the conversation. So what he did was, those conversations were there, to further your point. They were there, but then he kept scoring anyway. So it became a non-factor, and that's what I'm saying. I think that Matthews will be able to do the exact same thing. The question marks are there, and just like Ovechkin still went on, figured it out, and ended up scoring with other line mates, I think Matthews will figure it out and do the exact same without Mitch Marner, like Ovi did without Backstrom.
Yeah, it's exactly I just don't like when people make it seem like the only reason why goal scorers score in today's NHL is because they got a premier playmaker. And it's not because we've seen goal scorers find ways to put up goals on their own. Like, I understand, Mitch Marner's a very dynamic player. The two of them have been tied to the hip, as you said, throughout the years here. But Austin Matthews, we have seen. Austin Matthews didn't play with Mitch Marner that much to start his career. Remember, we were clamoring for those two to play together. He was a pretty good goal scorer even before Mitch Marner was put on his wing. So I think, yeah. And I think a lot of people, I've seen a lot of the comments, either some people say he'll be better. Quite a few people think that he'll be just fine. Like, I'm not hearing as many people saying that they're worried about Austin Matthews, at least in our comments.
Oh, really? I've seen a lot of those conversations. I mean, look at what NHL Network's ranking this guy pretty damn low in a lot of rankings, and a lot of the fan base is sitting here worried about his dip in production. I'm hearing the opposite. I'm hearing a lot of people have worries about Matthews without Marner.
I think it's more so just worries about Matthews in general. But, like, again, Austin Matthews, to me, there's a little bit of that William Nylander-esque factor where people will try to bring up something as being a big issue, and Matthews kind of has the shrug it off type of mentality. I think he's probably hearing a lot of this right now, and I really hope that he embraces this idea that people think that he's all of a sudden going to be facing these problems without Mitch Marner.
Well, let me give you some more tremendous information just to further my point. Matthews is, when you break it down again, goals per 60 with Mitch Marner at 5-on-5. 1.3 goals per 60 at 5-on-5 when on a line with Mitch Marner. Austin Matthews went on a line with William Nylander. Goals per 60, 1.51 goals per 60. So 0.2 more goals per 60 with Nylander than Marner. Enter Max Domi. 2.73 goals per 60 minutes at 5-on-5. Max Domi, when you look at the players that are currently on the team now, Matthews has had the most efficient goal scoring numbers while playing with Max Domi. 2.73 goals per 60, which is double the output when he is on a line with Mitch Marner. Granted, much smaller sample size with Max Domi, clearly, but it just goes to prove that he's still able and capable of scoring when he's with players not named Mitch Marner. And even when it comes to Matthews and his individual expected goals, with Domi, 1.49 individual expected goals per 60. With Nylander, 1.32 individual expected goals per 60. With Marner, 1.28 individual expected goals per 60 minutes. So Matthews' underlying numbers, he actually is expected to score less when he's on a line with Mitch Marner, and he does score less when he's on a line with Mitch Marner.